The restaurant glowed softly under warm golden lights, the kind that made conversations sound more intimate, laughter more genuine, and silence somehow heavier. Ethan Blake adjusted his collar nervously, tapping his fingers on the table. His friend Liam had set him up for this blind date, insisting it was time he got out there again after his long, quiet heartbreak. "Trust me," Liam had said, "she's sweet, kind, and maybe exactly what you need." So Ethan came, wearing his best blue shirt, still smelling faintly of aftershave and anxiety. He looked around, couples chatting, waiters moving gracefully, the hum of soft jazz in the background. For a moment, he thought of canceling, like he'd done before. Dating had never been the same since he lost Emily, the girl he once promised forever to, the one who never got to hear it back. And then, she entered. A woman in a soft cream dress, hair tied loosely, her eyes scanning the room until they found his. She smiled, shy but confident, and walked over. Something in the way she moved tugged faintly at his memory, but he brushed it aside. "Ethan?" she asked softly. "Yes, you must be." "Lila," she said, extending her hand with a gentle smile. Her voice was warm, but there was something else in her eyes. Something deeper. As they sat, the conversation began easily enough. They talked about work, about small things, favorite coffee flavors, old movies, travel dreams. She was easy to talk to, calm, kind, with laughter that felt oddly familiar. Ethan found himself smiling more than he expected. But every now and then, Lila looked at him in silence, almost as if searching his face for something, a memory perhaps. And then, halfway through dinner, when Ethan told a story about his college volunteering days, she softly set down her fork, leaned forward, and said those words that shattered the calm of the evening. "You don't remember me, do you?" Ethan froze, fork halfway to his mouth. What do you mean?" Her eyes glistened slightly, a sad smile playing on her lips. "It's okay. It's been over 10 years. You probably wouldn't." He searched her face, the curve of her smile, her brown eyes, the faint scar near her wrist, and something clicked, faintly, like a whisper from another time. "Wait, were you the girl from St. Clair's Hospital?" she said softly. Suddenly the sounds of the restaurant faded. His mind flashed back to years ago, a stormy night, flashing red ambulance lights, and a frightened little girl sitting outside a wrecked car, holding a broken locket. He had been volunteering that night with his college charity group, helping accident victims. He remembered sitting beside that little girl for hours, holding her hand, telling her stories so she wouldn't cry as her parents were rushed inside. He'd even given her his lucky charm, a tiny silver coin, before leaving, promising she'd be okay. "You," Ethan whispered, realization flooding him. "You were that girl." Lila nodded slowly. "You sat with me for 6 hours. You told me jokes, talked about stars, and said one day I'd grow up strong. You gave me hope when I thought I'd lost everything." Ethan's throat tightened. "Your parents. They didn't make it," she said, voice trembling but steady. "But that night, you kept me alive inside. I always wanted to thank you. I searched for you once I got older, but all I had was your first name. And then, fate brought this." Ethan sat in stunned silence, emotion gripping his chest. All this time, he'd thought this date was random. But maybe, just maybe, destiny had a way of circling back. "I can't believe it," he whispered. "You remember all that?" She smiled through tears. "I could never forget the man who taught me not to give up on life." The rest of the evening unfolded like a dream, stories shared, laughter that felt like home, and moments where silence said everything words couldn't. When they finally stepped out under the cold night sky, Ethan looked at her and said, "Maybe this wasn't a blind date after all." She smiled softly. "No. Maybe it was just life's way of letting two broken hearts meet again, this time, healed." But deep inside, Ethan wondered, was this just closure, or a beginning he never saw coming? Fate doesn't forget. Sometimes the people we meet once, the ones who touch our lives quietly, return when we least expect it. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Goodness Corner for more stories that make you believe in life's beautiful coincidences. Days turned into weeks, and what began as a surprising reunion slowly blossomed into something deeper. Ethan and Lila started seeing each other often, coffee dates, walks in the park, long conversations under city lights. For Ethan, it felt like rediscovering a lost part of himself. Lila's warmth healed something in him he didn't know was still broken. For her, being around Ethan felt like stepping into the light she'd always carried in memory, the light that once comforted a frightened child. But behind every smile, Ethan battled guilt. He'd once thought love was behind him, buried with his past heartbreak. Could he truly open his heart again, to someone whose life was once intertwined with his pain and kindness? One evening, as they sat by the river, Lila broke the silence. "Ethan, can I tell you something?" "Of course," he said gently. "I came on that blind date, not knowing it was you. But when I saw you, I realized maybe life was giving me another chance. To say thank you. To say, you changed me." Ethan turned to her, heart pounding. "I used to think kindness was something temporary," she continued. "But you showed me it could last forever, even if the person didn't remember." Tears welled in Ethan's eyes. "Lila. I didn't do anything extraordinary." "You did everything," she whispered. "You gave me hope when I needed it most." He reached for her hand. "Then maybe now it's my turn to thank you, for reminding me what hope feels like." The wind brushed softly through her hair as she leaned into his shoulder. They sat there quietly, two souls who had once met through tragedy, now finding peace through fate. Months later, Ethan stood at the same restaurant, nervously holding a small velvet box. Lila walked in, wearing that same cream dress, smiling the same shy, knowing smile. He stood, tears glistening in his eyes. "10 years ago, I gave you a lucky coin," he said softly. "Tonight, I'd like to give you something better, my forever." Lila's breath caught. "Ethan." He knelt, voice trembling but sure. "Will you marry me?" Tears streamed down her cheeks as she whispered, "Yes." The restaurant erupted in applause, but all Ethan heard was her laughter, the same melody that had once healed him. As they embraced, the narrator's voice faded in again, calm, emotional, and full of warmth. Sometimes life brings people together not once, but twice, first to heal, and then to love. So if someone crosses your path and feels familiar, maybe it's destiny reminding you that kindness never truly fades. Like this story? Hit that like button and subscribe to Goodness Corner, where every story reminds you that miracles hide in the most unexpected moments.